Alright, so hello everybody. This is Hardspace Shipbreaker, a game that just came out in early access that I really enjoy. So I'm making this video in hopes of getting other people to sign on board with it, because I think it's quite a bit of fun, even for an early access title. So as they add more features and more ships, I think it'll be an even better game. The basic idea here is you are an orbital shipyard guy whose job is to break down unused ships. Start open the career mode, which I would say is the meat of the game. And we'll load into our hab, our living quarters. There we are. So right away you see our debt notification up here. It cost the Lynx Corporation about 1 billion credits to haul your butt into space, and you have to work that off. You have the LT here, which I still have not figured out what that means, but it's your experience that you use to buy upgrades and stuff. You have your equipment here, which is where you repair stuff and spend your upgrade points. Most of the ships you find will have a recoverable data drive on them that you can check out here for world building information and flavor. And then you have this, which is basically how long until you rank up. Start our shift. The game occurs in 15-minute shifts. Each shift you have to rent your equipment and pay for the oxygen and so forth that you're using in your habitat. It costs you about 500,000 credits to go out on a shift, so you have to make sure you're going to make more than that when you go out. I'm going to start off with an easier ship, just because this is a demonstration and I want things to go relatively smoothly. This one is the one with the highest total value, so this is the one I'm going to go with. So I will pick my... There's plenty more. This is basically just a tutorial ship. Oh, whoops. Right, because it's Q to go back, and it's R to go forward, but of course I absolutely want to hit Q and E instead of R. So, never mind, we're doing the tutorial ship! Fantastic. So if you hit the right tab there, that's your work order, which you can basically think of as your objectives for getting this particular guy. This is obviously the ship we're going to be breaking down, and this is sort of our workspace. You can see there's all kinds of stuff going on. Very pretty game. These are jacks. These are just very, very heavy pieces of metal that you can use with the gravity system. These blue things are the processors. They're for very valuable stuff. The red stuff is for furnaces, which is for not so valuable stuff. I basically do not bother with them. And this down here is the barge, which is for really valuable stuff that you don't want processed, you just want to take it off. So what we've got equipped here is our grapple gun, and I'm just going to show this off by yanking this antenna. There we go. I'm going to reel it in with right mouse. And then F is our yeet button, so we're just going to throw that on there. And then, yep, you see it sticks down there, and we've got our antenna credits over there deposited into our account. Well, it's by weight, but you'll see the credit value later on. And now this is a good opportunity for us to show off our second piece of equipment, which is... Oh, it's a twin nacelle. Where's the cut? There we go. So there's actually a scanning mode, which I could have used to find that instead. And it'll show you the interior structure of the ship. The yellow bits are cut points, which you can slice apart with your cutting tool to help make the ship more easy to disassemble. And the blue here is nanocarbon, and I believe... Oh, no, that's panels versus sort of structural members. My bad. And no, I don't see... Oh. Well, I guess we're going to have to get into the interior of the ship before we do aluminum, but let's switch to our cutter, and it has two different heads. This is a split saw, which creates, as you can see from the thing here, it cuts in a line. But we're going to use the precision cutter here, the Stinger. And so now our twin nacelle, which if you look in the bottom center, you can see it's green barge, so that's where we want to salvage it. So we just want to yeet this whole frickin' thing into the barge. And it's too big for us to use our gravity gun. It weighs 3/4 of it? Well, no, because it's metric. So yeah, over 1.5 tons. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to use our secondary function on our grapple gun, which is a tether. If you look in the top left, you can see we've got a set number of tethers. We can buy more. And what you do is you right click to hold, and then wherever you want it to go, and it yoink. Let's get the other one. There we go. And you can see the, well, you did. Oh, there we go. You see the danger icon whenever you're got the cutter equipped and you're hovering over something you perhaps do not want to cut. And the reason that those are marked as dangerous is because right now the ship is pressurized, and if we do not respect that, it will explosively decompress if we screw around with it. And we don't want to do that. This is one of the basic classes in the game. There's really not very many ships in the game right now. This is one called the Mackerel, and they're procedurally generated, so every Mackerel is going to be a little bit different. I'm not high level enough to get to the second one, which is the Gecko. So what we need to do is, this whole ship is pressurized, so we need to get in here and find the atmospheric processor so we can dump the oxygen. We're going to go through and we're going to cycle through the airlock. And that should open up this airlock here. Yep, there it is. And this, as it's the tutorial ship, is quite barren, but the interiors of the real ones are much more interesting. So this right here is our atmospheric regulator, and we are going to... you see it go depressurizing, unpressurized, excellent. And then just because this annoys me, I'm going to activate the airlock.
Airlock pressure level
just so we've got... There we go. So we definitely got the thing to the outside. And now, I mentioned that it cost 500 grand to start this whole endeavor. And the thing about that is, this right here is a Class 1 reactor. And it is worth exactly 500 grand. So, taking care of that is one of the first things you want to do. Because if you got that, then your whole shift is just gravy. So what we're going to do is we're going to slice through these two cut points, and that is going to knock the floor out. And waste not, want not, so we are going to yeet this into the processor. As if you look at the hover over, see, nanocarbon, titanium, or not close enough, but yeah, there we go. If you get closer, it says processor. And then, since we got the reactor exposed, it is a nuclear device, and it does not like being taken out of this mount, and it will try to explode. So you have to salvage it very quickly. And in my experience, the quickest way to salvage a Class 1 reactor is to just yeet it directly into the barge. Yeah. You can see, and if you look on the left with the pips, oh, okay, it actually went much faster than normal. But those 5 boxes that you saw will begin to tick down. Those are basically hit points. And now, since we're already in here, we are going to switch back over to our cutter, and we're going to take care of these 4 cut points on the back here.
Your oxygen reserves are dropping below.
Oh, I'll get to you in a minute. As soon as I get these 4 cut out, we'll bring in more oxygen. And the reason you want to take care of these is because these 4 little things are all that is holding the ass end of the ship on. Okay, so that's... Okay, so this is where we go. This is your living quarters, by the way, this giant... I'm not sure what shape to describe that as, actually. It's 2 D4s locked together. And we're just gonna reel ourselves in. Nope. Okay, I messed that up. You can see we got our O2 meter at the bottom, so we got over a minute of O2 left, so we're fine. But we go to this terminal here, and this is where we can buy... Well, I'll just go ahead. Well, no. So, yeah, you have to repair your tools once you get back to your house, so that's what this is for. This will recharge your tethers. Normally you have 10. I've got an upgrade, so I've got 15. This is for thruster fuel in the bottom center, and this is for your suit health. And let's just go ahead and... There we go.
Oxygen level stabilizing.
And now that we have... no. Yep. These 2. Here we go. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to extract the thruster, and we're going to cut through these cut points that are holding the thruster's cap in place. Not all ships have these cut points. Like I said, they're procedurally generated. There we go. And now that we have that, we're going to yoink. To yeet. I think we just cleared it. Did we make it? Yeah, because there is a slight suction field around the beginning.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
And now that that cap is off, we have access. Wait, where the fuck is the thruster? Okay, wow, so it literally doesn't even have one. Normally, there would be a tube right here that we would use to... Well, that would be the thruster, and we'd just pull it out, and we'd yeet it onto the barge, but I guess the tutorial ship doesn't have one? Okay, cool, never mind. So...
You got 5 minutes left in this shift. Knock out that work order before they turn the lights out on you.
Yeah. So you can check out what stuff is made of through this view. And basically, the exterior hull is mostly made of nanocarbon, which is much more valuable than aluminum, which we would process in the furnace. So normally what I do is I just don't even bother with the aluminum. I just yeet everything into the processor, because there's no penalty for getting it wrong. So if it's not worth your time... Whoops, shift to the switch saw. To do it properly, if you will, you know, it's not worth the time and investment, then why bother? Whoop. I should say I am being pretty cavalier about my use of the split saw here, which is not necessarily what you want to do. Because this can cut behind things and into, let's say, fuel lines, which are active and explosive. But we don't have any of those here. And since we're doing this for a video, I'm going to try something that we see in the beginning cinematic, which is I'm going to tether these segments to... shoot. Together. And then...
Tether supplies are low.
I shall attempt a mass yeet. Oh, it didn't work. Oh well. Let's try that.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
No, it doesn't work. Oh, it looks so cool when you do it in the cinematic. But I have exactly enough except I fucked that up. Yep, okay, cool.
Warning, tethers depleted.
So let's try that. Nope. Well, it was a good attempt. But I should be able, if I try very hard, to just manually yeet.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Are you too big? Yes, you are much too big to yeet. Alas, you will have to wait for another time. Because you get free tethers. Oh, I'm just going to bonk into the ship here. That's cool. You get free tethers when you start a new shift, so I'm not going to buy more. Instead, I'm going to use my time here to do some cutting. Yeah, you can see the cut saw will go through interior panels, which you need on the more complicated ships because you've got to get into them to access things like fuel
Time
lines.
is winding down, Cutter. Dig deep and let's finish strong.
Alright. And it's the same deal... Or, oh, no. God damn it. There we go. With these. These are the only thing keeping the cockpit segment of the ship on. And there's no penalty for being out here when your shift finishes. You just it just ends and it boots you out. But you can manually end your shift early by going back home. That's the purpose of the whole thing there. Okay. Yep. 10 seconds. Gosh, that's pretty.
Warning, oxygen reserves are low.
I'm about to go home, so who cares? There we go. So you can see on the sections that I yeeted in there, I'll point them out. You may have seen the white tubes on the inside of those side panels. Those were actually lights. They're basically not valuable enough to salvage, really. So I usually don't bother, but you can see here, you know, the value of all the stuff that you salvaged. And total at the bottom, and then if we complete our shift, you will see... Come on. There we go. So these are our daily fees. Each shift is considered to be a day of all the crap we have to rent and pay for, and what that costs us. And against that that total of our day, and then it says, oh, well, you worked off about that much. Good job, Cutter. And then you get back to your menu, and that is the core gameplay loop. Now, I want to finish breaking down that motherfucker, so we're going to go back into it. And as you can see at the top left, I've got my 15 tethers free. Break. And, whoops, nope, I got my cutter equipped. Come on. Come on. Let me, okay, there we go. Well, because it... Oh, why don't we do it up? There we go.
Valuable object processed. Credits
Yeah, see right there? And I will, just so I can demonstrate how not worth anything these are, I will yeet this light, and only this light, onto the barge where it is processed.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
And now, since we have the tethers to do this now, we'll break apart. We'll move freely, yay! And now we're going to do a little trick, which is I'm going to attach to my house the front of the ship, and since I cut those 4 points, we'll see that that will pull it free. So now we have easier access to the interior and to... okay, come on. And since I'm going to have additional time on this ship, I'm going to try to salvage the full aluminum superstructure, which normally I don't do because, again, it's not really worth my time. Aluminum is a third as valuable as nanocarbon, I think. But how you do that is you just, and I think for time we're going to switch to the split saw. We're going to go through and we're going to cut all of these floor and ceiling panels apart. No, we don't want that. There we go. You may have noticed the split saw does have what you might call recoil. Okay, we're going to get a little closer so it doesn't. There we go. Okay. Oh, whoops. No. Yeah, sometimes you fuck up your tether hit. It happens.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
There we go.
Caution. Tether supplies running low.
Yep. And I will, since I've actually got stuff to break free this time. Wait, where the hell did my ship go? Oh, there it is. Sometimes this shit is hard to see. You can see these are giant aluminum panels on the side. Alright, C, control, forward, C, control, to C, split saw. Nope, because we don't want to cut that. Nice. Okay, no. There we go. No, we don't want that at all. Left. I forgot one, didn't I? Yes, I did. Like I said, normally I don't bother with this. I just yeet the entire cabin structure into the processor and oh well, once I'm done with the interior, which right now I'm not. Okay. Nicked the aluminum structure there. Oh well. It's the... let's just use the precision head for this one. Okay. Okay, and we shall begin. Oh, well, it's okay. Again, there's that suction force that will.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
And then once I get like, the. Yeah, we'll work on this for a little bit, and then we will. Oh, wait, where are you? Oh, yep, you're aluminum. You go into the furnace, we'll do that. Yeet. Or like nothing, but yeah, I got 9 minutes. I've got tons of time. Oh, nope, you're not coming out. Normally, these will just come out. Okay, so we're gonna have to cut these. Oh, no. It will not let us cut that panel. That's unfortunate. So we can't We can't get those. They just gotta go. Oh well. Okay, let's get orientated here. What? Nope. Okay, let's do this. Switch to our vertical head. And oh, I may have overheated that.
Your oxygen reserves are low.
Oh,
Note that
is
excess
that
carbon
it?
dioxide can cause damage
Nope.
to Link's equipment.
Okay, yeah, who the fuck knows where that panel went? I said, usually you can just pull them and it's fine. Well, oh well. Okay, let's fit our terminal and we're going to resupply our tethers and our oxygen.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
Now that we've done that, since this thing is mostly aluminum, there's some nanocarbon on the side here. But to tell you the truth, I've never figured out a good way to separate the nanocarbon structure here from the aluminum here. So anyway, we're not gonna do that. Boss makes $1, I make a dime. That's why I blow up nanocarbon on company time. So let's just do this, and we're going to take go that way, and we'll that way. How fast are we moving? Not very, so let's add 2 more tethers. These multiply, by the way. Yeah, okay. Well, we'll see how far that pulls it while we work on the cabin. Well, the cockpit. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Because one side does not have... There we go, that's what I was trying to get to. Oh, nope, didn't quite. Doesn't have the... I'm trying to struggle for the word. Airlock! Then you can just go straight down. Oh, hey, there we go. You can just go straight down one side of the ship. Basically fear-free, but the other side, if you want to get all the delicious stuff, you have to go in for it much harder. And again, normally you can just... Nope, can't get it. Okay. But these... No. Come here. I don't know why you're having... You're right in the struggle, bud. There we go. You do want to be... Whoops. Very careful about dragging stuff toward you. Because you can reverse yeet things toward yourself so hard that it actually damages you. That is one of the most common ways for new players to commit suicide.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, when you pull out electronics, sometimes they're a little zappy. 5 minutes, we got plenty of time.
Alright, Cutter, you got 5 minutes left of this shift before they turn the lights out on you.
Pitter patter.
Reroute.
Oh, no, it's not. Oh, there it is.
Credit applied.
You might notice our spaceman is breathing much harder, and that was because of that electrical hazard that we were not quite careful enough about.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
And I do enjoy, even though it is a little frustrating from a quality of life standpoint, that doing things with your gravity gun
Salvage secured.
does affect you because, of course, you are free floating. So
Salvage secured. Credit
which is one of the reasons we're kind of going all over the place just at the moment. Okay, 3 minutes, and I doubt we're going to be able to drag the components out, because we weren't able to do the other ones. Nope. And what about the door release? Nope. So all we're going to do here is we are going to get the glass out of the front, at least as much of it as we can manage, and then this entire apparatus is going into the processor. Alright, so let's get our split saw out. Because the glass, I've figured out, is actually just valuable enough to be worth dealing with. Unless it is too frustrating. Which, hey, sometimes it is. There's those cuts. Okay, those are pretty good cuts. Okay, we need to get this one down here a little. So let's get down, and let's just do a single horizontal cut. Let's see. No, not quite enough. Wrong way. One of the things I don't much care for is that sometimes it's hard to tell what's sticking. So what I'm going to do is just do a single horizontal cut. Let's see if that... Nope. Where are you holding? Towards the top somewhere it must be. No, that looked fine to me. See, when I say sometimes it's too frustrating, like to deal with, kind of what I mean. Oh, hey. Freed some piece of glass. Okay, got 100 seconds left.
We're getting down to the wire.
Oh, okay. Oh, shit. In that case, never fucking mind. So now we're just gonna go nuts with tethers because we don't have the time to waste. Because they're essentially free. Come on, pull the whole thing. There we go, we're good.
Object accepted for processing.
And you can see at the top, if you've been paying attention where it says the Pandora 9, there, that bar with the green and the red points, that is actually an indication of how much material and value you have left. So we're just going to go back in. There we go. You can see, like, oh, I got 2, and it's, yeah, they're 400 credits a piece. Like, who cares? And you can see all that aluminum superstructure that we yeeted into the furnace, tons and tons worth. You can see that is worth almost nothing, which is why I do not bother with it. Whereas you can see the nanocarbon, it's like, sure, we got a little bit more, but you can see it's much more valuable. And you can see, this kills me, not being able to grab all this stuff out of it. Because that's pretty good money. But it's a tutorial ship. Not really worried about it. So let's complete our shift. And hey, got it below 990. Oh god. And you can see on our certification, I've gotten my work order objectives. I got everything. I just gotta prove I'm a moneymaker, and then I'll be able to go up to my next rank. And some of the upgrades and so forth. You can see we got range, so we can extend the range of our cutters. This is the heat capacity. I didn't mention it because it doesn't really come up, but if you look at the bottom right when you're using the cutter, it does have a heat gauge, and you can exceed it, and it will hurt you quite badly if you do so. So this is for heat capacity, and this is for cooldown, and this, all of your equipment has the option to buy it, but if you look there, 19,000 LT just to buy your cutter. And your grapple over here, of course. Your basic license, range upgrades, strength upgrades, and your tethers, a mount, which, oh, I can't wait to get up to those. But I think this is a really important upgrade, the tether lifetime, because the tether will give up after 30 seconds, basically. So this will increase the lifetime of the tethers. So not only do you get more tethers as you go on, they will do more for you. Because you can just attach one or two, and you can just let the time work it for you. The push module, I as you can see with my accidental yeeting of that airlock panel, I think the push module is plenty powerful on its own. I definitely don't need, Jesus Christ, 20,400 newtons. Hell no. And then, of course, buying it for less than 11,000. That's a great deal. Your thrusters, which your speed, and your braking, which now that I've got enough for that, I am going to get brakes because that is very important to me. And then fuel capacity, which honestly I don't run into my fuel capacity enough to really care about that. And then your, oh, those are only 1,750. Delicious. Might have to save up for those. Your scanner, which I didn't show off very often because I know how the mackerels tend to work, so I don't really need to look. I can just cut. But this is one that I'm probably going to be doing next. This is probably my next upgrade, because sometimes it can be the case that you have active fuel lines or you have security locks on things, and you have to figure out how to bypass those things so you can get the valuable components out of the ship without it exploding, which I haven't had that happen yet, but I did nick a fuel barrel once, and it turns out it sprays toxic goop everywhere. Like, apparently they just use nightmare fuel for these ships. So this is very important as well. Range. I think the scanner has enough base range. Maybe when I get to bigger ships I will change my mind, but for the mackerel the base is fine. And your helmet, which is just... I found the plus 100 oxygen capacity. That gets me with one reload in between a shift. So I don't think this is really necessary. O2 recharge I also think is just gimmicky and not worth it. It's your goal is to unpressurize environments as fast as you can, and this incentivizes you to not depressurize your environments. So I don't really see the point. Oh, that's only 1,750 for my helmet. And then your suit, which is your health, so your basic stress, and then resistance to heat, because you can start fires and set yourself on fire. Cryo resistance, we didn't have any on the tutorial ship, but there are coolant tanks and coolant lines, and that will hurt you. And then we have already seen electrical problems when we accidentally zapped ourselves with that piece of equipment. And then this is one that I really like. It's turns your hearing back on when you're in space, so it makes the game a little more enjoyable for me, because, you know, space is quiet and kind of boring. And while the Firefly-esque soundtrack is pretty good, I still want to be able to hear the machinery that I'm doing. So, and comms and data, we didn't pick one up. The tutorial ship doesn't have one. So yeah, that is the core gameplay loop of Shipbreaker. I happen to think it's a really excellent game, and I hope you will pick it up yourselves. Right now it's only single player, but they are aware that people definitely want to do co-op and multiplayer with this game. I think it'd be an amazing co-op game. It'll be great. I just have this idea of, you know, somebody quietly disassembling the fine points of the ship, you know, the lights and everything. Yeah, they're not worth much, but it bugs me. And then while you're quietly doing that, somebody else is dicking around in the fuel lines and then sets the entire ship on fire. And they're like, "What, Ron? What are you doing? What the hell did you do? I just wanted to pick my lights." And I think that has a great deal of comedic value. So yeah. I hope you guys pick it up. It's a really great game. I quite enjoy it. And thanks very much for watching. See ya!